Stricter plate racing, less than a dozen people. Oh, and we've got trouble on the track, and it's Kyle Busch upside down.
Big time crash. Kyle Busch goes upside down and rolls down across on his roof here on lap 26. Cars comes back over, and now side over side barrel rolls.
Okay, that's Bobby Hillen in the car 77 down on the inside. It looks like he and Brett Bodine got together. Here comes Bobby Labonte. He's going to hit the Brett Bodine car, roll over on his top, slide down the track on his top, then it'll flip back onto the wheels.
That had to be an eternity for Bobby Labonte. You could see him lock it up in the 18 and try to fight his way to the bottom to get out of this mess.
Trouble off
trouble,
turn four.
trouble.
Newman slams the wall. Down
man.
comes Schrader, and Newman is in the air and over. Ryan Newman, last year's Rookie of the Year. The rear end ripped from the car.
3,400 pounds, folks, just lifting up in the air like a feather.
And the right rear wheel digs into the dirt and tears the whole rear end loose from the car.
Yeah, if the tire hadn't come off of the wheel, it probably wouldn't have turned over like that. But once the tire came off, and it dug in and flipped it. Let's watch her here and see what happens. Oh, Kenny Schrader got out of control, got into him. Oh, that's what happened, Mike. His right rear tire came off. Car goes airborne. Then when it hits the ground, it digs in and just rips it apart. Looking at Dale Jarrett's car.
He's
trouble.
Contact on the backstretch. It's Mike Waltrip and now Brian Vickers. Robbie Gordon, 31. The time. Waltrip's over. 1, 2, 3 times for Michael Waltrip.
Well, there's the big one right there. Took a lot. There's a lot of good cars right there. Is that Sterling Marlin in there?
40 cars in it. That's Michael Waltrip's car upside down.
And when you're in a situation like that, you are just a passenger, especially when these cars start turning each other. Here you see, looks like Johnny Sauter slid up in the 30 car into Brian Vickers in the 25. A chain reaction.
Yes, that's Michael Tuckins. Yes.
And Biffle, the pole sitter, looks like he barely got through there.
So you see the tire come off of Michael's car. Then it got into that grass softened by the rain, and it just dug in, just like we saw Ryan Newman's last year, and sent the car over.
There's Harvick, Kevin LePage, Johnny Benson.
That's us, guys. 25 got into us. That's us.
Robbie Gordon's view.
Robbie didn't have such a good time of it.
Man,
that looked like yesterday.
We're done.
Picked up where he left off before. One car spinning. The car number 41.
Johnny Benson, as a car takes a roll as it slid backwards.
Also racetrack, you see the rear of the car starting to get off the ground. You'll get a sense of actually how high this car will lift here as it came off the ground and begins to tumble. Higher than some of the scaffolds there where our cameras are located.
Well, Jerry, the speeds have increased so much here at the Michigan International Speedway in the last couple of years, and in this race in particular, Goodyear has some awfully good tires now that are running faster.
Trouble. Ricky Rudd slamming toward the wall. Crashing, rolling over.
We're running in a tight little pack. There wasn't a lot of cars in that race. It was like 12 cars. And I remember the guy behind me, Jody Ridley at the time, coming out of turn 4, barely nudged in the back of hit me in the back bumper, barely nudged me, but it did. It broke my car loose. And when it did, it started sliding to the infield. About that time, it got airborne. The car went up. Everything got really quiet. It went up pretty high in the air. I remember being way up in the air. After that, when it came down and hit, if you'd asked me what happened, I'd say, well, I came back down, hit the ground. It knocked the wind out of me because I remember hearing all the air leave my body, just like you do when you listen to the NFL game tapes when the guys hit each other and you hear the wind get knocked out of somebody. I heard that. The next thing I remember, I'm waking up and the car is upright and they're basically working to get me out of the car. I remember that and didn't remember anything else. I mean, it just like, I guess I went to sleep during that time, and probably glad I did because I didn't have any bad memories of it other than the aches and pains that hung around for quite a while.
Got sideways. Somebody looked like made some contact.
Uh-oh, we've got a problem.
Contact here, for sure. Darrell Waltrip and Joe Rutt. Waltrip's car gets on his roof and over and over.
Darrell Waltrip tumbling down the backstretch.
That's back there, but quick. He was up a little bit high, and Darrell looked like they just went together as they came off of turn 2 and started Darrell to the infield, and Rutten took him with him.
Car rolled over 5 or 6 times and came to rest on its side.
Pizza oven, and there's
a spin. There's trouble.
Car upside down. Schrader's number 25, side over side, end over end. Another car in trouble and also getting airborne.
Terry Labonte is involved. His car spinning around on the grass.
24.
Okay, he comes up and clips Ken Schrader, his teammate, and sends him around. Schrader's car going backwards. The roof flaps are up, and then he gets hit by Ricky Craven, and then that flips the car over.
He just drove in under him and turned it over.
And then other cars coming back with all the smoke and people slowing down. They start hitting each other, and lots of cars getting involved as we see Schrader's car continue to roll and tumble on the grass.
Jeff Gordon's in car. And I believe this is in slow motion.
Okay, there's Schrader up on the outside. And you can see him make contact right there and spins Schrader around. Gordon goes on. Apparently no harm done to his car.
Jeremy Mayfield giving us these pictures.
And there they're wrecking in front of them, and he hits Bobby Labonte right there, just gives him a little bit of a tap as we see Schrader's car going up in the air, and it spins Bobby right into the outside wall.
Oh, we have trouble in turn number 2. Johnny Anderson flipping the third-place car. David Hobbs.
Well, they're coming off turn 2. They're just turning into a strong headwind and lapping that slower car, which is upsetting the air. Anderson just gradually loses control. The back of the car comes round, hits the grass, and lifts the inside. And once it's up, the air gets under it and just lifts the car in a reverse roll. And then it starts to roll a front roll. End over end, crashing down onto the roof.
Oh, car in trouble.
Here, got it.
Spinning, crashing. That is the Trevor Boyce car.
They're coming off of turn 4. It looks like he drifts out just a little bit, Ken. Tommy Ellis on the outside of him there, and he hit just enough to send him around, and the air got underneath the car, sends it right upside down. Benny, what happens when that air gets under there?
I don't know, Ned.
Just the pressure?
At Daytona, watching this action that we're seeing on the screen reminds me so much of the Ricky Rudd crash from Daytona in the Busch Clash that we had in February.
The tri-oval checkered is waving. Ernie Irvan wins, and Rusty spins and gets airborne and flips wildly right at the start-finish line, very reminiscent of his accident at Daytona.
Touch him,
That's
and
why
around he goes, and that's one reason that Dale Earnhardt went down there.
That's why he was so concerned, because he touched Rusty Wallace to start this situation, it looks like.
And the car overturns about 6 or 7 times, pirouetting on its nose, end over end, side over side, comes to a rest on its wheels.
Now you can see that if somebody run out of fuel right there in the middle of that group, it would cause a huge wreck. We've heard, oh, here's a car upside down.
Big time crash upside down.
It's Ryan Newman. See Kevin Harvick there, Marcus Ambrose.
Ambrose is there, comes across, Harvick stops, and Newman's car comes to rest upside down on its roof. Gets in the wall 39, contact with a 29, and suddenly he is airborne and comes to rest right on the hood of the 29 car of Harvick right there. And then across the racetrack, the pirouette and the roll. Well, Elliott Sadler did a nice job to get his car woe down and not just hit that 39 coming up across the racetrack.
Sure did.
We told you at the beginning of the day how difficult it is for the wives to watch their husbands get in these cars and risk it all at 200 miles an hour. This is Ryan Newman's car coming to rest, and there's his wife, Chrissy Newman. She was headed back to the care center immediately to be able to be there when her husband...